Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We want to welcome everybody to our program tonight. We're coming to you, of course, from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here tonight. We've already got a good-sized house full here coming on here. Heidi Petrick's here, Richard Smith, Demon Catman, of course my buddy Don Patoka's here. Everybody's here, guys. We want to welcome everybody here. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Arnold Schmidt says his number is 1. Check-in number 1. Thank you, Arnold, for being here. It's fun. This is a lot of fun being with you guys. Today is Friday, August 23rd, 2024. How about that, guys? We've already made it past the middle of August. Now we're breathing up September's backside, coming into the fall time period, the fall equinox, when everything starts happening. Now, I want to just briefly tell you some of the things I've been watching today. Since I got up this morning, and I'll be showing you more information about this in just a second. The volcanic eruption over in Iceland is now stretched 3 miles. A 3-mile long fissure has erupted over there. Now the southern part of the fissure has now been observed to have less eruption factor than the northern part of the fissure. So that might mean that the southern part of the fissure might close up before the rest of the fissure does. That might be good news. I'll give you more information about that in just a minute. Now, given that, more good news. Actually, I'm not sure whether it's good news or bad news. Actually, it's good news, okay? I don't know why I keep going back and forth on this. Could be bad news and good news, depending on where you're coming from. The good news is this. The suspect that we told you about last night, Ronald Slivrock, over in Arizona, the man who threatened President Trump's life, from Wisconsin, the man who threatened President Trump's life that had a previous DUI, failed to appear on that DUI, 2 warrants on that DUI, and multiple other warrants for failing to register as a sex offender. That person that threatened Trump's life has now been arrested. He is in custody, okay? Now, part of this is also bad news, because we've also found out about another suspect over here in North Carolina. The suspect threatened President Trump's life here in North Carolina, and he's still outstanding. The police and FBI and the Secret Service have not arrested him. They have identified him, but they have not arrested him, and I'm not going to put his picture out because I don't want anybody knowing what's going on yet. Once that information comes out, I'll give that to you as well. But right now, another suspect that has not been arrested in an attempt on President Trump's life here in North Carolina. It's unreal. All of these idiots come out of the woodwork going after President Trump. Now, I'm not saying that nobody's come out against Harris or Walz. I have no information to talk about that. I have not heard anything. But it's interesting to note that President Trump was gone after from the time he went down the escalator in 2016. From the very time he went down the escalator in the Trump Tower in New York, he's been fired upon by the Democrat Party. They've not wanted him there. They came after him. They made false accusations against him. Once he was elected, they still made false accusations against him. A committee member, a bunch of committees from the Democratic Congress started going after him. They issued 2 impeachment warrants, 2 impeachment indictments against President Trump. The first one stuck, but it didn't take him anywhere because they had no evidence to come after him and take him out of office. They had no evidence. They did it again. They impeached him again, but this time it didn't hold water and they had to abandon it. Now, something else is very interesting here. I've done a little bit of investigating today. I spent about 2.5 hours looking into this so I could get my information correct. We all remember the January 6th committee, don't we? It's very interesting how the January 6th committee comprised of 8 Democrat communists and 2 Republicans. Only 2 Republicans. Now, those Republicans are still after evidence from the Democrats. But the Democrat Party destroyed the evidence from that January 6th committee. About 700 people were gone after by the FBI. About 100 people have been arrested by the FBI as a result of the January 6th supposed uprising at the Capitol building. An uprising. There was no insurrection, though. There was absolutely no insurrection whatsoever. But the January 6th committee wanted that insurrection so bad. They wanted to call it an insurrection so bad so they could level charges against Donald Trump. It was not an insurrection. I've gone through, in the past several years, I've gone back through video, just like Tucker Carlson did, and he released it. I've gone back through it. There's not one single minute of evidence showing that was an insurrection. Yes, some people broke into the Capitol. Some people broke into the Capitol. One person went through the Capitol window after he broke it out. Another woman went through the window behind him, and she was shot and killed by a Capitol police officer. It's very interesting how one Capitol police officer also said he had been injured, and very badly injured, as a result of that insurrection. But when it came down to it, and there was an investigation, he was not injured at all. He lied to the January 6th committee. He's still lying today. He testified at this week's Democrat National Convention. Lies, 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 and more lies. That former Capitol police officer did not get hurt at all. No Capitol police officer got hurt. None. There was one Capitol police officer that had a heart attack weeks afterwards. And then the Democrat Congressional Committee tried to say President Trump's insurrectionist people gave him a heart attack and killed him. That's not what happened either. Again, the Democrat Communist Party of here in America is continuing to level charges against President Trump that are false. This entire week, the Democrat Party over in Chicago tried to level charges against Trump. And every one of those charges was lies. Lies, lies, and more lies. It's incredible what they've gotten away with. And they continue to try to get away with. More lies. Even Oprah, years ago, brought Trump in and interviewed him on her show. On her show, she said how enthralled she was with the idea of a possibility later during Donald Trump's life that he might run for president. And she even intimated that there would be a possibility, and she would be up for it, of being his running mate. Donald Trump did not promise her that or anything, but she offered that to Donald Trump. Yesterday, she turned on President Trump, lied about him some more. Even the people that were backing Trump years ago have turned on him. All of them have turned on him. Why? Because they want to get name recognition. They want to make everything look as if Trump hurt them. That did not happen either. President Trump didn't hurt anybody. Nobody at all. But it keeps going on. And it's going to go on. The very same person, I don't even like saying her name. Camelback Harris. Camelback has lied and lied and lied. There was a great big huge coup in the White House. One of Biden's backers, the puppet behind President Biden, Obama, wanted Biden gone. Biden was a heavyweight on the Democrat Party. So Biden and the rich people in the Democrat Party and the elites of the world decided that they did not want Biden to run for re-election. So there was a coup instituted. A great big huge political coup here in the United States. This has never before happened. But a coup against our country from the inside. From the inside. It's incredible what these people want to get away with. Anywhere else, this would be considered a banana republic. And that's exactly what it's become. A huge banana republic. And it's out in front of the world. The whole world is laughing at the United States of America. The whole world. From Iran, over in the East, Middle East, all the way over Russia and China. The whole world is laughing at us because of our stupidity. Yes, our stupidity. Letting the politicians do what they've done. Ranting and raving. Lying about this and lying about that. We look like a huge banana republic. It's a sad state of affairs. Anyway, guys, it's incredible. I was not going to talk about this until maybe later, but I just had to get this off my gut. Okay? It's stupidity. It's literally stupidity. Anyway, now I got that off my mind. We'll get back to earthquakes and everything else today. Now, we have had some earthquakes. Let me take down my banner. Let me take down my mug here. I want to show you what has happened. And this is important. If it wasn't important, I wouldn't be showing it to you. Let's go over to the New Madrid Fault. We have hardly talked about the New Madrid Fault this week. We had one earthquake over in Missouri, Morganton, Missouri. It was a 2.7 earthquake. Today, over here on the eastern side, I can't say the northeastern side, but the central eastern side of the New Madrid Fault over in Tennessee, Ridgely, Tennessee. We've had a 2.2 earthquake here. Right dead center in the middle of the New Madrid Fault. And this is on the eastern side. The western side was a Morganton, Missouri quake 2 days ago. I want to tell you this. I want nobody to forget this. Nobody forget I said this. The New Madrid Fault is moving. I talked about this on Tuesday. The New Madrid Fault is moving. Let there be no mistake about it. We will have a New Madrid earthquake, and I believe it's going to happen within the next 2 years. Seismic energy is building. 3 years ago, we couldn't even get a 2.0. We could not get a 2.0 anywhere along the New Madrid Fault. During the past year, maybe year and a half, we have not been seeing just tremors. That's all we were seeing prior to 3 years ago. Nothing but tremors. 1.0, 1.5, 1.2, 1.7. Now that's given way to 2.2, 2.7, 3.5, and even upwards of 4.5 earthquakes. 4.5 moderate earthquakes here on the New Madrid Fault. Next week we'll talk more about the New Madrid Fault, I promise you that. I want to show you what is going on. That's New Madrid Fault. There are earthquakes over in Oklahoma. Earthquakes in Texas. In Texas, right here. This is on the border of Texas and Oklahoma. This is a 1.8 near Katy, Oklahoma. Right next to it, this is a 1.7 north of Alex, Oklahoma here. The border of Texas and Oklahoma. Over in southwestern Texas, you see earthquakes here. This is getting to be normal. Garden City, Texas, a 1.3 tremor. North of there, Ackerley, Texas, and this is not the first time we've had seismic activity in Ackerley, Texas. This is oil and gas fracking operations, as are all of the earthquakes to the west. These are fracking operations, oil and gas fracking operation earthquakes. Literally all over Texas lately. Down in south central Texas yesterday, we had another 2.7 earthquake in southwestern Texas. I believe it was Garden City, Texas. Unreal. It doesn't stop. It does not stop at all. Okay? Now, before I leave the United States, I want to take you up here to the Walker Lane Fault. The Walker Lane Fault. We've got a swarm of earthquakes here again. 2 years ago, we had a good-sized earthquake here. A very good-sized earthquake in Antelope Valley. This is not Antelope Valley. Hawthorne, Nevada this time. Hawthorne, Nevada. Look at these swarm of earthquakes here. 1.7. This is the largest of the quakes. 4.3 earthquake, a moderate 4.3 earthquake. USGS described this as a light earthquake. There is nothing as a light earthquake. 4.3 has always been moderate earthquake level here in the United States and all over the world until USGS decided to change that. These moderate earthquakes cause moderate damage. The name should never have been changed to light. Not at all. This was a 4.3 earthquake. There was some damage to dirt and gravel roads up here. Some damage here. A 4.3 earthquake. But look at all these other earthquakes here. 2.3 here. This is a 2.9. This is a 3.0. This is a 1.6, 3.3, 2.1, 1.8 tremor, 1.4 tremor, 2.1 tremor, 1.9, 2.0 tremor. To the north, 1.7. Down here to the southwest, this is a 0.9, 1.0 tremor. 0.9 microquake, 1.0 tremor. Over here on this reddish earthquake, this red earthquake just happened. The red earthquake just happened. This is a 1.7 in Hawthorne. This is 17 kilometers northeast of Hawthorne, Nevada. The Walker Lane Fault is alive and well. The Walker Lane Fault is alive and well. Okay? Please don't forget it. Please do not forget it. We've seen the Walker Lane Fault move before, and it's moved in a lot of different areas, and now it's moving again. Before it was south of this over in Antelope Valley. Now this is over near Hawthorne, Nevada, on the eastern side of Lake Tahoe here. Okay? Let's not forget this, because I believe we're going to see more earthquakes going north after this today. That was a good-sized swarm of earthquakes here. Now let's leave the United States. You see earthquakes up here in the Pacific Northwest. This is just a handful of them. That's just a handful. More earthquakes down here in Southern California. That is going to be for a while now. That's always going to be for a while. Now I want to go over here to the western side of the Pacific Basin. I'm going over here to the southern eastern side of the Kamchatka Peninsula. We've had numerous earthquakes here, and I want to talk about it. This earthquake here is a 5.3 earthquake, a large 5.3 earthquake. USGS and the other agencies are now calling this moderate earthquakes. There's nothing moderate about a 5.0 to a 5.9 earthquake. They have been large earthquakes. They cause large amount of damage. I'm going to continue to call them large earthquakes because what the USGS has done is lying to the public again. Lying to the public. This is out in the Pacific Ocean, completely well away from the Kamchatka Peninsula. A 5.3 earthquake. Nobody felt this earthquake. Nobody felt it. But look where it's at. Look where this earthquake is at. On the western side of that fault zone. The western side of the fault zone that comes out of the Philippines, goes up to Taiwan, goes north from Taiwan up the eastern side of Japan, and comes up here to make contact with the western side of the Aleutian Island fault zone. This is just a 5.3 earthquake. Let's see what these others are. This is a 4.9 earthquake. At least that's what USGS is talking about. A 4.9 quake. This earthquake came out as a 5.2 quake. Then they downgraded to a 5.1. Downgraded again to a 5.0. Downgraded again to a 4.9. The 0.9 society is alive and well. USGS again downgrades those earthquakes to the nearest 0.9. Sooner or later, this habit is going to get people killed because nobody will understand that this was just a 4.9 when there is major damage. Okay? Just to the northwest of there, this is another 4.9, 5.0 earthquake. This one came out as a 5.0 and immediately, I'm talking immediately within seconds, downgraded to 4.9. Unreal. We go up to the northeast here. This is another 4.9, 5.0 earthquake. However, this was also up at a 5.2, downgraded to 5.1, 5.0, and again down to a 4.9. USGS is alive and well. The 0.9 society is alive and well. Over here to the northwest is a 4.5 moderate earthquake. This is 31 kilometers deep. 31 kilometers deep. A 4.5 earthquake. This bigger earthquake was 15 kilometers deep. And it is closer to the earthquake fault. Interesting. Now I need to talk about this for a second. This earthquake, if this had been on land, if this quake here, a 5.3, had been on land, the USGS said it would have been a 6.0 felt report. It would have felt like a 6.0 quake. Isn't that interesting how a 5.3 earthquake can be felt as a 6.0 if it had been on land? That tells you where I'm coming from. That tells you exactly what I'm talking about. They don't want anybody to know what is really happening. But the truth comes out. They have admitted on their data sheets this would have been felt as a 6.0 earthquake. A very strong 6.0 earthquake. Okay? This is exactly what I've been talking about. How many 5.0 earthquakes do we have? 5.0 and larger. 4 of them. 4 of them. And only one of them has USGS let it stand as a 5.3 earthquake. Unreal. Unreal. Now, I'm going to go out here. I'm going over here to Japan. Kozaki, Japan, over near Tokyo. This is a 4.8 moderate quake. This is also 65 kilometers deep. Very shallow earthquake. Further south over here in the Izu Islands region of Japan. Here. This is a 4.8 earthquake, 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Fascinating. Fascinating to say the least. Let's go down here. I want to show you this quake here. Tobelo, Indonesia, just south of Philippines. They're not talking about the Philippines at all. There are quite a few quakes in the Philippines. USGS does not want to mention those, but they're quickly to talk about a 4.4 moderate quake over in Tobelo, Indonesia, 51 kilometers deep. Then we go over to central Indonesia, Losabe, Indonesia, another 4.7 earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. We go over here to south central Indonesia, Timor-Leste, Indonesia, another 4.4 earthquake. However, this is moderately deep. This is 416 kilometers deep. Now, I do not think that this earthquake here is capable of propagating a large earthquake. I don't believe it's deep enough. Deep earthquakes are around 550 to 600, 750 kilometers deep. Those are deep earthquakes. This is just moderately deep. Then we go over to the east part of Java, Eastern Java. USGS has this as a 4.9 earthquake. I'm going to call it at least a 5.0 earthquake, Eastern Java here. Okay, they're calling it a 4.9. I'm calling it a 5.0. Tombolaka, Indonesia, or Tombolaka, Indonesia. I don't speak Indonesian, or any of the various dialects from Indonesia. But again, this is a large earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. Now, yesterday over here in Australia, they had an earthquake over here where you're seeing this earthquake today. They also had another earthquake over here in south central Australia over here. Right over here. This earthquake here was a 4.2 earthquake. A 4.2 earthquake. Over in western Indonesia, or western Australia over here, they had two more earthquakes. Down here in southwestern Indonesia, why do I have Indonesia on my line? Southwestern Australia here. This was a 2.7 earthquake. Okay, 2.7 earthquake here. But, and I want to take you up here. Up here was another 3.5 earthquake. 3.5 earthquake. Now that's not to be outdone yet. That's not to be outdone yet. We go over here to Eastern Australia here. This is the exact same location where we had another 4.5 earthquake here yesterday. Yesterday was a 4.5. Now it is a 4.8 earthquake. A moderate 4.8 earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. I'm going to zoom in and let you see where this earthquake is. This is important. This whole area here, all the way down to the southeastern part of Australia here, is all a volcanic area. This whole area, as you can see it, is a volcanic area. Craters and volcanic lava all over this area. This is exactly where this earthquake is today. It's in a volcanic area, and you can see it here. You can see the basaltic lava flows here. Basaltic lava flows. as I've said before, volcanism is very active everywhere. The volcanoes all over the world are recharging. All of the volcanoes all over the world are recharging, and that's what I believe is happening over here in eastern Australia. Volcanoes are recharging, and as a result, we're seeing earthquakes. The magma beneath the surface is causing these earthquakes. Okay? All over this area. We've even had, as of late, and I'm saying the last 6 months to a year, we've had earthquakes over here in northeastern Australia here. All this area is volcanic. This whole area is volcanic, guys. You can see it here. I'm wondering if they're going to let me get close enough to show you some craters. See, we've got craters right here. You can see craters right here. Isn't it fascinating? Isn't that fascinating? You see craters here. This whole area is volcanic. It's a huge lava field here. This is a huge lava field. A few minutes ago we had Aubrey that came on here and said, "Hi, Ron. Hi, Aubrey. It's good to see you." Kathy Payan from Hawaii is here. Thank you so much, Kathy. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being here, Kathy. Always, always. Aloha. Mahalo. Okay. Anyway, that's what's going on here in Australia. I wanted to point that out because we've been having earthquakes. Five of those earthquakes here in Australia yesterday. And what did USGS show us? None. None. Okay? We've had 20 earthquakes over here in New Zealand. Has USGS shown us any? No, they have not. Most of these earthquakes here in New Zealand are 2.3, 2.7, 3.0, 3.5, 3.7 earthquakes. All over the North and South Island of New Zealand. And off the coast over in the Bay of Plenty as well. The Bay of Plenty, folks, is this area where they have what looks like a catcher's mitt here. This is the Bay of Plenty. Earthquakes all over this area. From Auckland up here to the northwest, all the way over here to Gisborne, New Zealand over here to the northeast. Earthquakes everywhere. Yes, they're small. Yes, they're minor earthquakes, but they're earthquakes nonetheless. We've been seeing this week even a 4.5 earthquake, a moderate 4.5 earthquake hit here in New Zealand. We're having earthquakes hitting here. This is just part of a huge subduction zone. And just so you know, let's zoom back in here. I want to talk about this for just a second. Right up here on the North Island, on the eastern side of the North Island, when I've done my troubleshooting on these earthquakes here in New Zealand, I started doing some study here. Guess what this area is? Scientists are expecting an 8.0 large earthquake over here, major earthquake, on the eastern shores of the North Island of New Zealand sometime in the next 40 years. Sometime in the next 40 years, they're going to have an 8.0 major earthquake. And yet USGS doesn't talk about it. Heaven forbid. They're not showing us any earthquakes in Fiji and Tonga. There are earthquakes here. There are other earthquakes here. Let's go over back here to Hawaii. Kathy Payena's home run area. This earthquake here. I just love this. I just absolutely love this. This is a 1.7 tremor over here on the southeastern side of Mauna Loa. The southeastern flank of Mauna Loa. Further south, this earthquake just happened. This is a 2.3 minor earthquake over here in Pahala. In Pahala, guys. It's just north of Pahala City. Pahala City is way down here. That's Pahala City. But this area here, this entire area here, all the way up here, is considered Pahala. This is a 2.3 earthquake. Off the coast here, near Loihi, an undersea mount volcano. An undersea mount volcano. A 1.7 tremor here. Then we go north. We've been seeing a lot of earthquakes here, haven't we? And I've done my share of talking about them, haven't I? Over here on the southeastern side of Kilauea, near Pu'uo'o. Pu'uo'o volcano is also here. Look at all these earthquakes here. Okay? I believe, and USGS also now believes, that we're going to have some fissures open up, similar to what we had in 2019. We keep seeing large swarms of earthquakes. This is the exact same thing that happened in 2019 when the lava at Kilauea and Pu'uo'o volcanoes drained out. And like I said before, 2 or 3 days went by and scientists were wondering where that lava went. It went back into the ground, into the underground magma chambers, the channels beneath the ground over here in Fern Forest and also out east, northeast to Leilani Estates. And we've been having earthquakes out here in Leilani Estates as well. There may be another eruption over here in the east rib zone of the Big Island. We're still seeing large swarms of earthquakes here. Right here, Fern Forest. This is a 2.1 earthquake. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. Right smack dab in the middle of that swarm. This is a 3.1. Okay? 3.1, 2.2, 2.1, 2.3. Almost all of these earthquakes are between 2.0 and 3.1. 2.0 to 2.9 are considered to be minor earthquakes. 3.0 to 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. Yes, we have some tremors here as well. This is a 1.9 tremor, 2.0 earthquake. Again, I don't believe the 0.9 society, so I raised it up a tenth to a 2.0. Still, this is over in the Fern Forest area. I believe we're going to have some fissure eruptions fairly soon. Yes, we are having some earthquakes over here near the Helena slump. We've been having earthquakes over here near the Helena slump. And the other day we had a 4.7 earthquake here near the Helena slump. And again, there was talk by some people that the Helena slump was going to drop off Hawaii and cause a tsunami on the southeastern or southwestern part of the United States. It's not going to do that. I don't believe that's going to happen. This is a 2.4 here. This is a 2.4 here. And this is a 2.2. Fern Forest, guys. Earthquakes over here on the southeastern side of the Big Island, just south and east of Kilauea. Okay? Sleeping Volcano says, yes, the swarms in Hawaii must be watched. I agree. We must watch what's going on. We must watch what's going on. Anybody have any questions about earthquakes so far? Does anybody have any questions about earthquakes so far? Now I'm going over here to the China area. This is over here on the southeast western part of China. Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan belongs to Russia, actually. But this is over here in China, near China. This is a moderate 4.6 earthquake, 3.5 kilometers deep. Just barely more than a mile and a half deep. Now, let's drop south of Africa. South of Africa. We have had 2 large earthquakes here. I want to talk about that for a minute. 2 large earthquakes down here south of Africa. Down here on the Antarctic Ridge. These earthquakes are right on top of the Antarctic Ridge. 2 of them. 5.5s. 5.5s. Large earthquakes. Now, Rebecca, NCWQ Worldwide News Disaster Explorer, was talking about these possibly being antipodes of the earthquake up in Kamchatka Peninsula area. I don't believe these are the antipode to Kamchatka Peninsula. They could be off from there. 30 degrees off, maybe, then they could be here. But I do not believe these are antipode earthquakes. What I do believe is these are down here on the Antarctic Ridge. I'm going to go back here, I'm going to pull out a bit, and I'm going to go over here to the South Sandwich Islands. South Sandwich Islands, we've had several 5.0, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 6.0 earthquakes here in the past 6 months. In the past 6 months. Some of that energy is locked up here. Some of that energy has been locked up here. A lot of that energy went straight up the Mid-Atlantic Fault. Straight up the Mid-Atlantic Fault. Some of that energy did not go up there, though. I believe that energy is stuck down here. And that's why, in my opinion, and I might be wrong, USGS is still not talking about why these 2 earthquakes have occurred here. I believe that energy came over here from the South Sandwich Islands all the way over here to just south of Africa on the Antarctic Ridge. That's happened before, and it's going to happen again. We've seen 6.0 earthquakes over here south of Africa in the past several months. That's happened. Sleeping Volcano says she's going to be back later. I hope you have a good night, Sleeping Volcano. You're awesome. Tell Dennis I said hi. Okay? Dennis is Sleeping Volcano's husband. They've had some health issues as of late, and we love them to pieces. We can pray for them. Let's pray for them. That's a good idea. In your nightly prayers tonight, pray for Sleeping Volcano. Her first name is Sharon, and her husband Dennis. I know they would probably appreciate that a lot. Okay? Thank you for everything you do, Sleeping Volcano. You're an angel. You're an angel. Anyway, guys, that's where all the earthquakes are today. Does anybody have any questions? Now, these are not all the earthquakes. These are definitely not all the earthquakes. But these are all the earthquakes that USGS is telling us about. USGS is also not telling us about any of the earthquakes up here in Iceland. They haven't said a darn thing about the earthquakes up here in Iceland, but we've had earthquakes. As I said before, there's still a fissure that's opened up here, and it's north and west of Grindavik. It's north and west of Grindavik. I'm going to go and show you where it's at now. Okay? In case you wanted to know. Let's go to Iceland. I just love Iceland. I do. I really love Iceland. Iceland is a wonderful place. Now, I want to show you this satellite map. Down to the bottom left is Grindavik, a town that used to have 3,000, maybe 3,200 houses down there. People and families live there. We had a series of earthquakes the last 2 nights, and right before we came on the air last night, there was another volcanic eruption. It was the 7th volcanic eruption this year. A total of 9 volcanic eruptions, all in all, since last November. The fissure has opened up here near just west of Hagafell. You see this Hagafell? Hagafell here, guys, is a volcano. That's a volcano. Over here to Porbjørnafjell. Porbjørnafjell. Now, I don't understand what poor means, but Torbjorn is a bear. Bjorn is a bear, okay? This is another volcano. This huge, long fissure has now erupted over here. It's erupted over here. It is nowhere near the Blue Lagoon. It's nowhere near the Svartsengi power plant. Up at the top left, you can see the Blue Lagoon and the power plant. Okay? It's nowhere near there. However, this fissure and the corresponding lava field is moving to the west. Moving to the west. Now, they do not expect the lava that's out in the field to go over to the power plant or the Blue Lagoon spot. Nor will that lava make it down to Grindavik. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I want to show you where this lava field is. It's between Porbjørn and Hagafell here. Even as far north as Sunnfjord. Sunnfjord, up here to the northeast here. That's where it's at. Right here along this highway. By the way, this is Grindavik Highway. Grindavik Highway. It's the highway that extends from Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, to the northwest, all the way down here to Grindavik. The Grindavik Highway. Now I want to tell you about what's going on, so you have truly a good idea of what's happening. Like I said last night, about 1 hour before we came on the air, and that's one of the reasons I was very late in getting on the air, is I was trying to pull the information about what happened here in Iceland. Now, I want to show you what is going on there. I think it's important to understand what's happening. Okay? Okay. I want to show you this. These 2 big earth movers have been building a wall around the power plant that you see here, and on the other side of that power plant is the Blue Lagoon spot. This wall is now 70 feet high. This wall is now over 30 meters high. About 60 to 70 feet high and growing. They want to make sure that any lava that builds up from any lava flow does not reach the power plant here or the Blue Lagoon spot. The same kind of wall has been built around Grindavik, all the way around Grindavik, to the western, southwestern, and the northeastern part of Grindavik. A huge earthen wall has been built around Grindavik, the same height. Basically the same height. I think the northeastern side of Greenvik wall is about 80 feet high. But this is what they've been doing. When the last eruption happened, when there were 3 craters left out of the huge fissure that had opened up during the previous fissure eruption, there was lava pouring out of the fissure, out of the last crater before it stopped erupting. Lava pouring out in the landscape. That lava did not reach the top of this wall of Greenvik. The lava did not make it to the top of the wall. However, the hot magma melted the rock at the bottom of the wall and made its way through just to the other side of the wall. It did not go any further. The authorities in Greenvik that built that wall stopped the lava from going any further. It did not erode the wall. It did not have any threat on any homes or businesses in Greenvik. It was stopped. But it made its way through the bottom of the wall. That is the important part that we want to take home tonight. It did not make its way through the wall. Now, this eruption is not going to make it to Greenvik. They say it's not going to make it to Greenvik. We think the current height of the wall can handle the first thin lava flow well. But then, as we've seen it happen before, when the lava arrives, the lava swells up and expands. It expands many meters. John Hooker Steingrimsson is a geoengineer over there in Iceland. In June, when the last eruption happened, the lava rose over the wall above Svartsengi and overflowed. This time it's not going to happen. The wall now is currently 12 meters high and is being raised. The landscape around Slingerfell and Hagafell has changed a lot. That's where the fissure is now. Slingerfell to the north and Hagafell to the south. That area, the landscape has changed a lot. And the lava landscape has filled many of the depressions in the land. Many of the depressions, the gullies and the valleys in that area have been filled in by lava from these lava eruptions. About 60 earthquakes were recorded yesterday at the magma chamber beneath where this fissure erupted. 60 earthquakes before the eruption. 10 of those earthquakes occurred after midnight Wednesday night. Fascinating. Most of those earthquakes were 1.0 to 1.6 in size. Those were tremors. Those are just minor tremors. But yesterday morning, several larger earthquakes were recorded near Greenvik. The largest of the earthquakes near Greenvik were 2.4 minor quakes. 2.4 minor quakes. Now I want to talk a little bit about Greenvik so you understand what's going on there. Okay? The civil defense has now reduced the alert level from this possible volcanic eruption. They reduced it from 6 to 5. The alert level went to 6 right after the fissure eruption, after it started. But now they raised it down to, or lowered it down to 5. Seismic activity and land deformation at the eruption center near Sunspot slowed down significantly. It slowed down significantly. Let's go back to the satellite map here. Now you see where it says Sunnukur? That's what he's talking about there. That's what he's talking about. Okay? The seismic activity and the land deformation. The rising and falling of the Earth's surface. because the magma from underneath was pushing the land up, right? Just like we explained last night. Now that has slowed down, and has slowed down significantly. The Met Office has now assessed that the danger level from Grindavik has been lowered from red to orange, from 6 to 5. There is no lava flow to the south towards the town. The activity so far has been confined to 2 areas north of Skogfell and around Hagerfell. During a research helicopter flight earlier today, it was found that there's very little activity on the fissure that opened up at the southern part of the fissure. Very little activity. That means that southern part of the fissure may have slowed down, and it may stop. The activity appears to be shrinking, as they have seen in the previous eruptions, been shrinking. The lava tongue that approached Grindavik-Herveger, which is the highway that I pointed out. Grindavik-Herveger, this highway right here that goes over here to Purebjornfjell, all the way down to Purebjorn, and then Hagerfell to the right, or Hagerfell to the east here, down here to Bioeffect Greenhouse. That is Grindavik-Herveger. That's a highway between Reykjavik and Grindavik. Okay? Now, they believe that the lava tongue that approached the highway at the beginning of the eruption is almost stopped, which means the highway may not be affected at all this time. They may not have to later bulldoze through the lava field and open up the highway again. That's what they had to do during or after the last eruption. But there's something else that they may have to do, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. The National Police Commissioner and the Sioux Germans Police Chief have decided to move the public safety level down from emergency level to danger level due to the eruption that started last night and is waning at this point. It started last night, now it's waning, it's going down. The decision does not mean that the preparedness of the response parties will be reduced. The response parties are the police, the fire, and paramedics. The police, the fire, and the paramedics, and also those people that are working on the walls around the towns, the power plant, and the Blue Lagoon Spa. Those response parties will not be reduced. They may be increased at some point in time. Now, the police chief made the announcement on the Icelandic Facebook page. It is emphasized that this has been extremely difficult and dangerous to go to the eruption sites on foot. It's extremely dangerous to cross over the eruption sites. Now, there are tourists that are doing it. There are tourists that have trampled over off the highway into the eruption areas. Again, the authorities over in Iceland and the police commissioners are saying to stay away, telling everybody to stay away from the eruption site. The lava is very difficult to cross. The lava fields that have been left there in the past are difficult to cross. There are many cracks in the lava field. For example, last night, the police had to pick up a hiker who fell into a crevasse, and he was injured. In conclusion, they're asking everybody to please be careful and take your safety seriously. Please be careful and take your safety seriously and stay out of the eruption area. There's no business for you to be there. Now, I spoke briefly to Kristen Jonsdottir from the Icelandic Met Office earlier today. She said the eruption that started yesterday is somewhat conveniently located in terms of infrastructure because it is away from the Svartsengi power plant, the Blue Lagoon Spa, and it's even further away from Greenville. It is similar to what previous eruptions had, except for how north it is. This time this eruption is further north. Okay? The fissure is now erupting in a section between about 2 kilometers, about 1 mile long, in the northern part of the magma tunnel, the underground magma tunnel. In total, the eruption has now comprised a length of about 7 kilometers since the beginning last night. 7 kilometers is approximately 3 miles long, though the eruption has not been all at once. Last night, the Icelandic radio news personality Ingunn Lara Kristjánsdóttir flew over into Keflavik, Iceland from London. Apparently she had been on a small vacation or what they call a semester, and she was on the plane, and she captured the reaction of her fellow passengers on the plane as they saw the eruption happening for the first time. It was amazing. I wish I could show you their reaction on the plane. There was all kinds of oohs and ahs as they looked out of the plane's windows before they landed. Icelandic radio news personality Benedikt Sigurðsson at Slingerfell said the work on building defenses, meaning the walls at the Svartsengi area and also down in Grindavik, continues. Einar Már Gunnarsson, who is a project manager, says that it's been a relief to see the lava flowing in northerly direction, away from the defensive walls. The highest wall that they've had now is over 15 meters high, 15 meters tall, and it's growing because they are not letting any of the crews take any time off right now. That might change if there's a massive amount of lava flow and the wind change carries the toxic gases, the carbon dioxide and the sulfur dioxide in the wind fields and blows them into areas where the people are working. Then they might change their minds on what they're going to do with response teams and also with people in the area. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about what's going on over in Iceland? Okay? Any questions? Martin Deloach, it's important that you send me an email with your contact information and your phone number, and I'll call you. Okay? You don't have to cancel this channel. We want you to stay. Okay? But send me your contact information. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay, please. Richard Smith says, please stay on topic. Martin, it's important to stay on topic. It's important, very important to stay on topic. That might have been why your chat had been taken down. You don't have to be blocked. I don't believe our mods blocked you, but they just took your chat down. Give me a call tomorrow, or send me your email and your telephone number, and I'll call you. Okay? I don't want to lose you as a follower of our channel because everyone deserves to have information. I don't want to lose you. Okay? We just don't want to. Does anybody have any questions about anything we've talked about so far? NCWQ Rebecca's here. Yay, Rebecca, it's good to see you. Anyway, let me go back here just for a minute and talk about what happened earlier today over in Arizona. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. went on the air at a press conference. Only press conference people. Media. He spoke to them. He canceled his campaign. He said he suspended his presidential campaign. He also said that he was going to support President Trump. And apparently President Trump and Robert F. Kennedy have talked. Because after he suspended his campaign, President Trump came up on the air as well and said that he has a position for him in his cabinet. Now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also talked about our medical doctors and nurses and what happened during the COVID situation 2019, 2020, and 2021. There's a lot of things that happened that were wrong. A lot of things went down that should not have happened. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he is 70 years old. He has at least 10 more years of productivity. And he wants to have a position where he can have effect on making sure that American people, children and adults, eat right. Robert F. Kennedy said that we were being poisoned with chemicals. Chemicals that are in our food. Chemicals that are in our food that are banned in Europe because they're bad for the people. He talked about diabetes. He talked about other diseases and medical issues that Americans have because of their food. And he wanted to do something about it. During the past couple days, that when I spoke to people about what Robert F. Kennedy was allegedly going to do, and they said he might resign from his presidency and suspend it, his candidacy, I should say, not his presidency, his candidacy, he might suspend his candidacy. There was talk about him being put as a Secretary of Food, the FDA, Food, Drug, and Agriculture. There was also talk of him being put in charge of another three-letter agency. Don Patoka says Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was not complimentary to the DNC or to the current state of affairs in Washington. No, he was not. He had nothing good to say about the Democrat National Committee, the Democrat National Convention. He had nothing good to say about Harris, Walz, or anybody else over there. He didn't have anything good to say at all. Now, I was going to play a portion of his speech, but he suspended his campaign today, putting his support behind President Trump. And he's urging everybody within the sound of his voice and his entire candidacy to go over and support President Trump. Now that could have a couple different effects. I've already seen a lot of people saying that they were Democrats that were going over to vote for President Trump. But I've also seen a number of Democrats saying, we're not going to vote for President Trump, he's a dirtbag. And they said a lot of really bad things. That's going on. That's going on. Either way, I believe President Trump is also going to get a lot more support than he might have had if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had not suspended his campaign. Okay? That's going on. Now, I'm going to try to bring in a portion of President Trump's rally in just a minute. If they've started the news conference or the rally by the time we get to it. The richest YouTube channel is questioning, do you think oil drilling is the cause of tectonic plates movement worldwide? No. I don't believe oil drilling has anything to do with tectonic plate movement. tectonic plate movement has been ongoing for thousands of years. Thousands of years since Jesus Christ first created this earth. Tectonic plates have been moving since then, and they're not going to stop. It's an ongoing process. Whether there's oil drilling or not, this is an ongoing process. Okay? It might slow down at times, but that I don't think either has anything to do with the oil drilling. The plate movement slowing down or speeding up, I don't believe has anything to do with fracking. Nothing. Diane Kelman is over here in the chat saying RFK, she thinks that RFK has the heart and the courage to clean things up, and I agree. I absolutely agree he does. I've watched RFK throughout the years, and he's a staunch supporter of cleaning things up. That's all he's been doing, is trying to clean our country up. His own father and his uncle were doing the same thing before they were shot and killed. I believe he's trying to do exactly what his father and his uncle were doing. That's my own personal opinion. Juby Joe is here. Welcome, Juby Joe. We're glad to see you. We're glad to see you. Guys, I know our mods have been putting this information up, but I just want to pass this on to you from my own mouth. If you want to support us, join this channel. Join this channel as a member of the Emergency Management Associates family on YouTube. Second, subscribe to this program. Subscribe. It's important. Third, you can also support us financially through Super Chats. You can support us over on our PayPal channels right below this video tonight, and on top of our program description. It has a way to join our channel here to become a member of the YouTube EMA family, but also below that we have our address, our local address, where you can send cards and letters, and in the middle of those cards and letters you can send us donations. Up until the last year or so, I used to get 2 or 3 cards and letters every week, at least. Now that's dried up to maybe 1 or 2 cards or letters a month. This month we've gotten 3, which I greatly appreciate. And I tend to show those cards and letters to you on the air. I always do. I want you to know how appreciative I am of what you do to help us. You can also, below that, find our PayPal locations. We have 2 PayPal locations, and we also have a Venmo location where you can send us donations. We'd appreciate that very much. Okay? I appreciate that. Our address here locally is 104 North Green Street, 104 North Green Street, Box 105, Morganton, North Carolina, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. I appreciate all of your support, I really do. You guys mean the world to me. I love hearing in your letters how you're preparing. I love hearing about your families and what you're doing, and how you're teaching your families also to prepare. That's wonderful. I really appreciate that. I love your cards as well. I've shown your cards. You guys have sent me cards. You guys have sent me postcards. I show those on the air too. I love it to pieces. Okay? S. Nort sent me a letter the other day. Well, no, it was a card. She sent a card. And inside that card were postcards from years and years ago. Train postcards. I love it. I absolutely love it. Behind me on the wall, I have cards from my friend Laura from Oregon, she and her husband. I also have a train up here on my wall that she sent me, right above my head. Right above my head right here. Okay? A train card. On my wall to my left, you don't see it. On my wall to my left, I have another train picture that you guys sent me. Also behind my wall, right up here. See that sign here? That was made from license plates. Sandy from San Francisco, that I haven't seen on this channel for a couple of years now, Sandy made that picture for me from license plates and seashells. I greatly appreciate that. Very cool. Very, very cool. I love you guys. Also this here this right above my head right here. This EMA sign. This was my own design, but I didn't make it. One of you also made this and sent it to me. I love it. I have it prominently displayed on the wall behind me. That's how proud I am of it. That's how proud I am of it. Laura, Laura here says, thanks for the shout out, Ron. Laura, your card that you sent me about a week or so ago, I have here on my desk. My wife and I put it there personally so we can see it. I love these cards, guys, I do. I love those cards very much. I cherish them. Every card and letter that you all have sent me over the years, I have. I've been on the air now 5.5 years. I've kept every card and letter that you guys have sent me. I have 2 or 3 boxes of them now. I wanted to save them. I may make something out of them at a later time. Those things make a world of difference in my life and in my wife's lives. My wife loves those things. She takes the cards out of the boxes and looks at them. She also thinks they're very cool. I love you guys. I love you guys. Now, let's go over to the Trump rally in Glendale, Arizona.
Going to roll out and look for them in the future.
All right, Sunnyside there in...
Guests. So we'll be here and we will be bringing you a bunch of coverage from that. You did mention the heat. A lot of people today suffering. Over 100 patient contacts were made by Glendale Fire, and that was outside before people were able to come in. But now we've got thousands of people gathered in here. As you can imagine, during these speakers that they've had so far, the topics have included the border, securing the border here in Arizona and throughout the United States, banning abortion. They've discussed a lot about transgender athletes and transgender bathrooms, and keeping faith at the front lines, especially in education. That was the point of several of the speakers. And of course, they're talking about the Biden administration and the fact that there has been a lot of things that have gone wrong in that administration, in the minds of these Republicans, and that the Harris administration would just be more of the same. Now, again, Trump has not taken the stage yet. Carrie Lake has not taken the stage yet, so we're still waiting on some of those bigger name speakers. But we did talk to some guests, some attendees today in line. They were really excited about the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. endorsement. They were saying that they think that he could be a good match for Trump. They think that they could work well together. And there were some people who were saying, you know, the Kennedy Democrats of the past aren't a thing anymore. There was an older gentleman that we spoke to who said, I was raised a Kennedy Democrat, and I don't feel like there are many of us left, and those that are left are voting for Trump. That was his opinion. So it's going to be interesting to hear what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has to say if he comes to the rally today, and of course what Trump has to say about it.
Right about everything. And the only extreme...
Now it's ended. Well, that's bad. They ended this stream before President Trump even took the stage.
Seen this in conjunction with the Trump campaign today in Glendale, Arizona.
Okay, 55 years ago, in the summer of '69, my mom, Sheila, delivered her 9th and final baby, yours truly. I wish that my mom and my dad were alive right now to see this. I really do. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a very successful head football coach. And I will tell you this, speaking of football coaches, we've heard a lot about them lately. Coach Larry Lake supplied the young men that he was coaching with helmets and shoulder pads. Unlike this assistant coach, Tim Wallace, who supplied his young men with tampons and maxi pads. What the hell? What the hell? That is the most absurd and twisted thing I've ever heard. I do know though, if my parents were alive today, they would be right up here in the front row, right by my daughter. And they would be cheering me on with a MAGA hat and a Carrie Lake for U.S. Senate t-shirt to help celebrate my birthday. I really know that. So today I am officially, once again, 29 years old. But I somehow have 55 years of experience under my belt. No, but really, in all seriousness, there's no place I would rather be than right here with all of you on this day. And with the greatest president in the history of this country, Donald J. Trump. Right about everything. And the only extreme...
Well, they said this is ended here.
Hi, I'm JT and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all, big tech right now is run by a bunch of elitist people who all happen to vote the same way and who all
There it is.
District, Abe Hamaday. Wow. He's gonna be good for a long time. He's a young gentleman. Great, Abe. Great job. Great job. Great heart. He went through a tough one. Arizona GOP chairwoman. She is doing a job. Gina Swoboda. Gina. She is doing a job. And a very good friend of mine, the next senator from Arizona, I really believe this. Look, she's running against, we don't have to do a big, I was going to bring her up. I was going to say, come on, Carrie, speak. But she just spoke for half an hour. What the hell am I going to do here? But I will tell you, she's running against a guy who's a rubber stamp for, it used to be Biden. Now, who the hell knows? I don't even know. Do we know who it is? Who, a rubber stamp for somebody. But Ruben Gallejo is horrible. He's an open borders maniac. He's a defund the police maniac. He shouldn't be allowed to even run in this election against her. Because Carrie Lake is incredible. She's incredible. She's tough. She's smart. She's got heart. And she should be your next senator. I hope you win this sucker. Because you are winning. You're running against a guy that cannot carry your shoes. I mean, nice. You know the expression? Can't carry her shoes. And you're going to have a big victory. And we're going to work together. And we're going to make sure we win this state. I say this presidentially, if we win this state, which we're expected to, we're leading and all of that, we win the presidency, and we have to take Carrie Lake with us. Go get him. Go get him, Carrie. Go get him, Carrie. And honestly, and forget, we all know Karen. She's been a newscaster for 22 years. Everybody knows her. She's never had a problem. She's solid as a rock. This guy is a freaking loser. He's a loser. So, with that, we'll go on. But good luck, Carrie. We love you. Special. Very important. And honestly, and forget, we all know Karen. She's been a newscaster for 22 years. Everybody knows her. She's never had a problem. She's solid as a rock. This guy is a freaking loser. He's a loser. So, with that, we'll go on. But good luck, Carrie. We love you. Special. Since Democrats didn't talk about Kamala's horrendous record last night, we will. For nearly 4 years, Comrade Kamala Harris. I use that term, I don't know if it's good. Is it good or not, tell me? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. I love these free polls. Instead of spending $250,000 to a pollster that doesn't even poll, you know what they do? They take your money and they say, let's see, all right, 49 to 51, all right. It's one of the greatest businesses in history. I get a free poll here. Do you like the name? She's a radical left lunatic, okay? She's a defunder of the police. She wants to defund all the things that we talk about. Do I call her Comrade Kamala Harris or do I not? Ready? Ready? What do I do there? You tell me. You could tell me better than anybody. Okay, ready? I'll say yes or no. Yes. No. Comrade Kamala Harris. Has overseen a nation-wrecking border invasion. This is a nation-wrecking. It's an invasion. You know, one of the ways I built hundreds of miles of wall. I was there yesterday. I looked up and down. I said, man, I built a lot of wall. And we could have put up 200 miles more, but they didn't want to do it. And that's when I said, you know, I think they really want open borders. But we built much more wall than I said I was going to build. And you couldn't see the end of it yesterday. You couldn't see the end. We had a news conference, but it's a dangerous area. It's a dangerous area because of her, because of him, but he put her in charge, you know, whether she's borders are, and that's what she was called. Only recently did she say she doesn't have that. But you know what? She has been the worst manager, and the Border Patrol never even saw her. They never even met her. She's in charge of it. They never even met her. And you suffered the price. She's allowed at least 20 million illegal aliens into our country, including millions and millions of unvetted fighting-age men from 159 countries. You know, it's no longer just South America. They come from Africa, the Congo. They come from a lot of coming from jails in the Congo. Let me tell you, these people, the nice thing, they make our criminals look like the nicest people on earth. That's how tough they are. They come from the Middle East. They come from areas that we're fighting. They come from enemy terrain. They come from all over the world, and they do come from South America, but not only from South America. 159 different countries in the last year, and they're totally unchecked and unvetted. Every single year she's been in office, she has set an all-time high illegal border crossings record, triple and quadruple what the year before, where I'd have like 150,000 and she'd have 2.5 million. What she has done to this country, nobody can tell you. You know, she destroyed San Francisco as the district attorney. She destroyed California, you know that, this is a woman that's gonna she destroyed California. She had a policy, if you steal less than $950, you're allowed to keep it. You can go, we're not gonna prosecute. So criminals are walking into stores, mean, nasty guys, rough guys, and they take calculators and they calculate. Let's say I want to get up. They walk out, then they walk back in. The whole thing, this is who we're going to have running our country? I don't think so. And nobody lies like her. She's a liar. She makes up crap. She's the one going to raise. You know, she said, Donald Trump is going to raise. You know why? She said I was going to raise. Because I'm going to put tariffs on other countries coming into our country. And that has nothing to do with taxes to us. That's a tax on another country. And I did it with China, and we had no inflation. You know, I had no inflation. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China, and not one other president took in 10 cents. They were all, oh, China, we're afraid of China. We're afraid of China. According to a new DHS report, Kamala Harris also lost, and this is impossible to believe. Listen to this, 325,000 migrant children are gone. They're missing. She allowed them to be trafficked into our country. Many of these children are now in sex slavery or they're dead, probably mostly dead. They will never see their homes or their parents again. They were swiped out of their homes. They were taken out of their homes. This is a government number, 325,000 children, sex slaves, or they're dead. Many are dead. Hamas has so little respect for Kamala and Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden, that the hostages that they're talking about all the time, I believe they're largely gone. I believe they're largely gone. So sad. When you look at what happened, when you look at that attack on October 7th, I believe they're gone, and the reason they're not negotiating, you know, it says Hamas has decided not to negotiate because what they want back are the hostages, and I think those hostages, I believe they're largely gone. I believe they're largely gone, so sad. When you look at what happened, when you look at that attack on October 7th, I believe they're gone, and the reason they're not negotiating, you know, it says Hamas has decided not to negotiate because what they want back are the hostages, and I think those hostages, for the most part, aren't around anymore. And so they said, oh boy, we can't really negotiate because we don't have the hostages. The hostages are largely gone. How sad, how terribly sad. If they feared and respected Joe Biden and Kamala, they would never have killed those hostages. They would have never attacked. They would never have attacked when I was president. Iran was broke. Iran was broke. I told China, if you spend any money on buying oil from Iran, you'll never do business in the United States again, and we're going to put a 200% tariff on you. And Iran was broke, and they had no money for Hamas, and they had no money for Hezbollah. You can check your numbers. Look at it. When my last year, they had no money. We had no terrorism. You know, for 4 years, I didn't have any terrorism. You notice that? None. And when they asked Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, very strong guy, what is the reason that things are so bad now? The Middle East is blowing up. Russia's blowing up with Ukraine. There's war starting all over the place. Looks like bad things could happen in Taiwan with China. What's the reason? He says, you got to get Donald Trump back as president. You won't have any problems. That's what he said. It's true. It's true. They respected your country. They respected your leader, but they respected our country. Now they laugh at our country. Our country has become a joke. She's provided deportation immunity to the vast majority of criminal aliens living inside the United States and is importing MS-13 gang members, known as the most violent gang of them all, into our cities and into our high school. Think of it, they're coming into our high schools. Kamala has set loose thousands of Venezuelan gang members who, according to law enforcement bulletins, have been given a license to shoot American police officers. You know that, right? Under Harris, ICE deportations are at the lowest level in history, the history of our country. She supports deadly sanctuary cities, Now, of course, she's flip-flopping on everything. You do know that, right? You know that, Joe? She's flip-flopping on everything. Debbie, right? She's a flip-flopper. Andy, she's a flip-flopper. She flip-flops on everything because she was polled. She said she didn't do too well. That's probably why she was the first out of 22 people. I can't get over it. She was the first failure. And now she's running. Oh, we're going to beat her. I look forward to the debate, too. I do look forward to the debate. Look forward to it. She called for abolishing ICE. These are great patriots who are tough as hell. You need tough people. She's compared ICE agents to the KKK. She wants to repeal the federal law that makes illegal immigration a crime, making illegal immigration totally legal. It's okay to come into our country. She wants to release all of the thousands of criminal illegal aliens that are locked up in detention centers, and these are the toughest of them all. She wants to release them into our country. We have detention centers for the toughest of them all. She says, we're going to release them. Now, maybe they'll ask her tonight, oh, no, I would never do that. She might change. She's changing and everything. But don't forget, if the election ever went haywire, if they can find a way to cheat enough, and she wins, in quote, she wins, she's going to do everything that you wouldn't dream of, including no fracking. She didn't discuss fracking last night. No fracking in Pennsylvania. I can't imagine she could do well in Pennsylvania. 500,000 jobs are involved with fracking, and a huge amount of their budget, everything's involved with fracking, and she's against it. In her speech last night, she lied about almost everything. She lied when she said, I was going to raise taxes. No, I'm lowering taxes. She's the one. She lied and said that, oh, this is the best. I'm going to be the one, and I was already there. I didn't touch your Social Security, and a lot of Democrats wanted me to. She lied when she said that I want to cut Social Security and Medicare. No, she wants to cut it because she wants to have the illegal immigrants coming into our country to go on Social Security and Medicare, which will destroy Social Security and Medicare. It's Kamala Harris who cast a tie-breaking vote to cut Medicare by $266 billion. She cut your Medicare, remember this, by $266 billion, and then promised mass amnesty last night to 20 million illegal aliens and make them American citizens, which will absolutely obliterate your Social Security and your Medicare, ultimately leaving those programs bankrupt and our seniors desperate and poor. And remember, when you talked about all of those hundreds of billions of dollars, you know what she's putting that money into? The Green New Scam. She took it out of your Medicare. She's putting it into one of the greatest ever, one of the great voices of sport. Stand up. Let's see if anybody knows who the hell you are. Good job. He's a good man. He's done a good job. But she took it out and she wants to put it in. She put it into the Green New Scam. She said the border was safe under her direction. You know, they're the party of disinformation and misinformation. They'll say something 100 times. The border was safe. Did you see last night? The border's safe. The first time she said that was about 2 months ago, and she went like this. The border was safe. She started choking. Horrible. They are the misinformation, disinformation, they lie. They keep saying the same untruth over and over again. And you know, you're not like in my business. You're not in this political business like these people. You're in other things. You're lawyers and you're carpenters and you're electricians and you're drivers and you're doing a lot of things. By the way, no tax on tips. Remember that? No tax on tips. No tax on tips. She tried that one, and yet in Congress right now they have bills to destroy people that don't. Do you see what's going on? It'll never happen with her. It's guaranteed to happen with me. No tax on tips. But actually, it's the most dangerous and unsafe border anywhere in the world. There's never been a border like it. No country ever. If a country had a border like that, they would fight with sticks and stones if they had to keep the people out. She believes that if you say things enough over and over again, even if they're stone cold lies, like Project 25, he believes in I don't even know what the hell it is. I know it's a group of people that got together and they're slightly on the conservative side. And it's unbelievable what they do. It's really unbelievable. She would destroy our country. If she was ever elected, our country will go down the tubes. We'll be in a depression like 1929. We will not have a country any longer. Yesterday, I was at the border with the victims of Kamala's migrant crime wave. One of them is here with us tonight. Michael Morin is the brother of Rachel Morin, who you know about. Rachel was a cherished 37-year-old mom of 5 absolutely incredible children, beautiful woman. Last summer, Rachel was out on a run when she was brutally raped and murdered by an illegal alien who was led into America by Kamala Harris. Let her in. I said, let her in. The animal who committed this heinous crime first killed another woman in El Salvador before walking across the open border. Just walked right in, no problem. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in cold blood. Michael, I promise you in Rachel's memory, we will stop this invasion and we will keep these savage criminals the hell out of our country. Thank you, Michael. Please. Thank you. So sorry, Michael. So sorry. Say hello to your parents and everybody, okay? Thank you. So horrible. We are so sorry, Michael. Thank you for being here. According to her own administration statistics on crime victims, Kamala Harris has presided over a 43% increase in violent crime. These are government numbers, by the way, including 58% increase in rape, 89% increase in aggravated assault, and 56% increase in robbery. During the riots of 2020, she encouraged her followers to donate to bail criminals, looters, and arsonists and killers. People died, including Sean Michael Tillman, a dangerous repeat offender who went on to shoot and kill a Minnesota man 6 times in the head. He shot him 6 times in the head and torso. And Kamala let him out, let him go. While Kamala Harris was DA of Sanctuary City, San Francisco, 20 years ago, maybe the greatest city in the world. Today it's unlivable. She ignored the pleas of victims' family. Please, please let us do, please don't do this to us. And refused to seek the death penalty against an illegal alien MS-13 gang member, one of the worst murderers they've seen in years, who murdered an innocent man and his 2 sons and didn't even remember he did it. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as a non-violent crime. Comrade Kamala Harris destroyed single-handedly, with some help from the worst governor in our nation, Gavin Newsom, both San Francisco and California itself. He's a terrible governor. What a governor. For years, but you know, she might have picked a worse one. You look at the numbers in Minnesota. We hope we're going to win Minnesota. You know, it hasn't been won since 1972, Richard Nixon. But we're doing well there, too. But the governor is horrible. You know what he did? He approved a bill to give tampons in every young man's bathroom. Right? Think of that. This is what we have. This is our vice president, our potential president. Tampons in boys' bathrooms. For years, Kamala Harris has pushed legislation to strip police officers of protection, trying to bankrupt them and ruin their lives for doing their jobs. No protection, no immunity, no nothing. She even endorsed defund the police. I will never defund the police. I will only fund the police and fund them with plenty of money and pride. I will always back our law enforcement heroes in blue. We are pleased to be joined tonight by the president of the Arizona Police Association, Justin Harris. Oh no, he's not a relation. Justin, are you a relation? Last name is Harris, spelled the same. I'm very concerned about this. I'm not rude. But Justin Harris is a great gentleman who has a special announcement. Justin, would you please come up? Thank you. Isn't it?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm a little concerned about that illegal immigration chart you put up. Was that a spike in immigration or the inflation? Kind of both, right? Wonderful job those Democrats are doing. My name is Justin Harris. I'm a veteran police sergeant here in Arizona with 25 years of experience in service. And I also have the privilege and the honor to serve as the state president of the Arizona Police Officers Association. The Arizona Police Officers Association is the largest law enforcement association in the state of Arizona, and we represent over 12,000 law enforcement professionals, the men and women that currently serve in our communities each and every day, at the local, county, state, and federal law enforcement levels. We cover the entire state. And on behalf of the Arizona Police Association, we are proud to welcome President Trump to the great state of Arizona. And to the wonderful city of Glendale, home of Luke Air Force Base. Folks, these men and women in Luke fly those beautiful F-16 Fighting Falcons of the 390th Fighter Squadron and those beautiful, beautiful F-35 Lightnings. Nothing like hearing those jets flying overhead, which that's the sound of freedom and American ingenuity. Also a special thank you to the Glendale Mayor, Jerry Wires, and the entire City Council for their unwavering support and advocacy for our police officers, active duty military, and our veterans. You're not going to find stronger advocates for our military, our veterans, and our police officers anywhere in the world other than Glendale. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Also, I wanted to give a special thanks to the men and women of the Glendale Police Department, the best and most professional police department in the country. Thank you. With a special thanks to Police Chief Chris Briggs and the other 8 West Valley Coalition departments that allowed us to use their law enforcement officers here today to keep us all safe. Thank you, gentlemen and women. Law enforcement today is perhaps the most complex occupation on earth. It's an honorable profession of service and commitment to others, those who step in the gap between good and evil and to protect our communities, and we do so knowing the risk. Officers are required to make split-second decisions under the most uncontrolled, chaotic, and stressful situations, often at great risk to their own personal safety. Given the literally millions of contacts between officers and the communities annually, with a few exceptions, officers make those decisions correctly as trained and in accordance with the law. But high profile does not mean high frequency. Certainly in this day and age of instant information, social media, and videos, there's an unrealistic expectation of absolute perfection. It is not possible to be perfect every time because we hire from the human race. People are not perfect. Good people can make mistakes. However, the constant orchestrated villainization of police officers has eroded the public's trust. It has encouraged an air of obstinance, disrespect, and assaultive attitudes and behavior towards police officers. What was that name we called her? Was that Comrade Kamala? Was that what it was? Kamala, Comrade. Well, what we do know is she supported defunding the police, and the best term is they wanted to reimagine policing. I don't know what that means. She is part of the radicalized movement to degrade public safety and make our communities less safe. In contrast, under President Trump's first term in office, he always had our backs. Thank you for that. He never rushed to judgment, and he never, ever in a lifetime called to defund the police. Ever. And we owe him a debt of gratitude for that. Let's also forget, when President Donald Trump was president, he closed the borders and locked the door. Border czar Kamala Harris opened the door and let everybody in. Border czar Kamala Harris is allowing millions of illegal immigrants into this country, turning each and every state into a border state and flooding American streets with drugs and crime. The Democrats haven't quite figured this out yet, but it's not rocket science. But open borders equals more crime. Close the border. And my gut tells me that there's a gentleman standing up here on stage today that's going to do exactly that. President Donald Trump has in the past and will again make America great again by tackling lawlessness head on. Ceasing the endless flow of illegal immigrants across our southern border and ensuring the police departments across the country have the funding, the training, and equipment necessary to do our jobs. And he's not going to reimagine us doing that. President Trump will stop the multi-million-dollar illicit trade that occurs each and every day at the border. Thanks to Comrade Kamala, with these open borders, the only group that she's enriched is the Mexican cartels, which have expanded over 160 countries across the world. They've done this by using human beings and human trafficking and treating them like dogs. The flow of illegal drugs into this country is unmatched in history. And they also have illegal vaping devices that are harming our communities and killing our kids, all being imported from China through the cartels. This has to stop. Kamala Harris, as border czar, deliberately obliterated the U.S. border to flood the country with illegals. They canceled the wall. They implemented catch and release and terminated Remain in Mexico and effectively shut down ICE, pulling those agents off of the front line, putting them in administrative duties to do paperwork and change diapers. Meanwhile, the front door of our country is wide open. President Trump will stop this. I've got a serious question. Has the border czar, Kamala, even toured the southern border? Didn't think so. Has President Donald Trump toured the border? Yes, he has. and I heard the cartels went running. On average, there's over 5,000 illegal immigrants are being released into the country every day, our country. We don't know who they are, don't know where they came from, can't even account for them. For 38 straight months, the monthly border encounters have been higher than even the highest month seen under the Trump administration. You can't tell me this isn't being done deliberately, because it is. In 2023 alone, more than 900,000 illegal immigrants were released into the interior of the U.S., unaccounted for, waiting for court dates, and nobody knows where they're at. That's the entire city of Mesa flowing into our countries, and that's the only ones we know about. Illegal drugs are flowing into this country at an alarming rate, with only 5% being intercepted at the border. You got it. Folks, let me finish up here, please. This country, our family, our communities, and everything that each of us holds dear and near to our hearts cannot endure another 4 years of a clueless president that cares more about the color of her curtains than the safety and prosperity of our great country and its people. It is clear who supports law enforcement, law and order, and that's President Trump. His unwavering shown commitment to the rule of law of the men and women place their lives on the line every day. So if you support national security and want to secure our borders, vote Trump. If you support law enforcement and safe communities, vote Trump. If you support getting our country back on track and making America great again, vote Donald J. Trump for president. And this is why the Arizona Police Association and our 12,000 members, family, and friends are proud to extend our endorsement to Donald J. Trump for president of the United States of America. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much. Wow, that's a great endorsement. It means a lot. So just in closing, I want to say that from the moment we take back the White House from Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden, crooked is a $4 bill. We used to say $3 bill. Now we say $4 bill. I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion of our country. We will carry out the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than President Dwight D. Eisenhower in the 1950s, who was a big believer in borders. We will defeat inflation and we will make America affordable again. You're going to have an affordable country again. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. It won't even be close. Remember, as I always say, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country in the world, including Saudi Arabia, including Russia. And we will use it to reduce taxes and energy costs for our people. We will reduce your energy bills in 1 year by more than 50%. That's here and that's everywhere in the country. And that includes heating, air conditioning, electricity, and gasoline for your car. I will turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower more than it has ever been, ever before. We will bring back jobs to America. We will no longer allow foreign countries to take our jobs and to steal our wealth. We will make our own products and we will buy far less from foreign countries than we are buying right now. We're going to make it here. Other countries that make us pay a tax to do business with them, will be charged the same tax when they send their product into the United States. It'll be called the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. And if China or any other country charges us a 100% tax or tariff, then we will charge them a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200%. In the words of a great president, William McKinley, the protective tariff policy of the Republicans has made the lives of our countrymen sweeter, brighter, 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 and it's the best our citizenship and our civilization can ever have. Better destiny for our people. We ought to take care of our own nation, and we have to take care of our industries first. We have to take care of our country first. It's about time, and it's going to happen starting on January 20th of next year. I will not let Mexico, China, or any other country sell cars into the United States to the detriment of our auto workers all over our country, including in Michigan and South Carolina. United Auto Workers, you're going to vote for Trump because I'm going to bring you back more auto production than you've ever seen in this country before. I will end the ridiculous electric vehicle mandate, cut every job-killing regulation of the Harris-Biden administration, and make our auto manufacturing business bigger, better, and stronger than it has ever been before. And if you relied on Kamala, there would be no auto industry. Within 3 years, you'll never make another car. When I am back in the White House, we will pass large tax cuts for our workers, and there will be, as I said, no tax on tips. And that means if you're a restaurant worker, a bartender, hospitality worker, caddy, barber, mover, driver, or anyone else who relies on tip income, your tips will be 100% yours to keep. You will no longer be harassed by your government. And I will fight for and protect your Social Security and your Medicare with no cuts and no changes in age. We're not going to move it up. They want to move it up 5 years. We're not doing it. Darling, when do we get our Social Security? Well, they just moved it up 5 years, and you're not going to happen with me. It's going to happen with them. They're going to destroy your Social Security. And we will have no tax on Social Security benefits for seniors. They destroyed our seniors and everyone else with their horrible inflation. And then they give you small dollars with Social Security and they want you to pay tax. I don't know. We don't need it. We can do it. We have so much else, including that liquid gold. Oh, we're going to go hunting for liquid gold. We will cut wasteful and unnecessary spending, and we will terminate the Green New scam and spend that money on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt. No fake infrastructure that has caused massive inflation with no benefit whatsoever to our population. I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and we will restore peace through strength, and it will happen quickly. I will have that war ended before I go to the White House on January 20th. I will have the war in Ukraine ended as president-elect. And we will end the weaponization of government against the American people, including myself, by the way. They've weaponized the government against the political opponent. Can you imagine? But you just saw we won the big case down in Florida. Everyone said, oh. They weaponized it. They got their Justice Department to go after their political opponent, but they're not doing well. I'm the only one that ever happened to where my numbers went up. What do you think about that, Mr. Congressman? I don't think it's ever happened. They go after me and my numbers go up. Somebody's got to explain that. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful once again. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, because right now it is under siege. And this is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest costs, low inflation. And that's for everyone. We're talking about everyone. We want to make sure everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our great police, strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield around our country, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, and we're going to restore. Those people don't allow it. The fake news doesn't allow it. We will restore free speech in our country, and we will secure our elections, Mr. Congressman. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with joy and opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris, a new name. We must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. We have to put an end to it. So get your friends, get your family, register, volunteer, and get out to vote. We want a landslide that is too big, too rigged, too big, too rigged. Right? Right, Deb? On November 5th, we will save our country. We will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again, so strong. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arizona. God bless you all.
God bless you all. That was a wonderful speech by President Trump, by Carrie Lake, from the senator that is the person that's running for Senate in Arizona. I thank the police. Wanted to thank the police chief myself. No, not the police chief. I'm sorry. The president of the Arizona State Police Officers Association. I've worked with them, not with him personally, but I've worked with the Arizona State Police Association, PORAC, which is the organization of police officers in Southern California and Nevada. I've done that. I love our police. I support our police wherever they are. It doesn't matter what state, what jurisdiction, what country you're in. I support you. I've worn the pants, the badge, and the uniform. God bless our police. God bless President Trump. God bless you all. Now, folks, I wanted to show you this because I believe in what President Trump is doing. We have to rescue our souls. We have to rescue our states. We have to rescue our countries. It's not just about America. If America fails, all countries around the world will fail. If America fails, all countries around the world will fail. I'll promise you that. We have to get President Trump into office. We have to improve each and every country around the world. And President Trump will do that, not just for the U.S., but for every country around the world. He's done it before and he'll do it again. Now in closing, I've been always giving you a devotional at the end of our programs. I'm going to do it tonight. Over in Nephi, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 1. Nephi pays tribute to his parents. I, Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore I was taught somewhat in the learning of my father. And having seen so many afflictions in the course of my days, nevertheless having been highly favored of the Lord in all my days, yea, having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God, therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days. I, Ron Tyler, being born of goodly parents, make these records for all of you, for each one of us. I decided 5.5 years ago to come on the air to do two things. One, talk about disasters, and two, talk about preparedness and how we all can be prepared. Folks, we've done some of that tonight. I've talked about Iceland's volcanoes. I've talked about earthquakes. We have not talked about earthquake preparedness as yet. I believe I may do that on Monday. I'm promising you, we will talk about preparedness till I'm blue in the face. I've been doing it for 5.5 years. I believe in being prepared. Failing to prepare will make you fall. Failing to prepare will take us all down. We can't afford that. We need to be prepared. We need to be proactive. We need to plan. How many times I've talked about writing an emergency plan? We need to be practiced. We need to conduct drills with our families and those we care about. We need to be prepared psychologically as well. We need to keep our heads on our shoulders when everybody else is losing theirs. And then two other things. Don Patoka said this in the chat. I'm repeating it now. We need to be physically and spiritually prepared. Keep your bodies as strong as you possibly can. I've got some weaknesses now. My back is killing me as we speak. I pulled a muscle in my back 3 days ago, and I've been in a lot of pain ever since. I'm going to strengthen myself so this doesn't happen again, one way or the other. But I'm telling all of us, we need to become physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, just as the Boy Scout motto used to say. We need to become physically strong and spiritually strong as well. I've asked all of you for the past week to read your scriptures, to pray. Pray unceasingly, night and day and all day long. Keep a prayer in your heart. We need to pray. We need to constantly be in communication with our Heavenly Father. Folks, we need to do this. We need to do this. I thank you all for everything you've done for me. My parents are not here on this earth, but I want to thank them for what they've done for me and my family. I love them very much. They set an example for all of us. And I know your families, your parents did the same thing for you. God bless you all. God bless you. May God bless our country of America, England, Japan, Australia, the countries in South America and Africa, and all over the world. May God bless you all. Make you all strong. I love you all, brothers and sisters. I love each and every one of you. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Have a great night, guys. I love you very much. Take care. Much love. See you soon.